Hello and welcome to another Typical Boro podcast. I'm your host, Steve Dixon. If you like the content we provide, could you please subscribe to the podcast, like, share, leave comments, always helps me. We've got another packed podcast today. We've got two games to cram in. Leicester City in the Birmingham game, of course, yesterday at the Riverside. And we've got the small matter of Rob Edwards leaving the Boro to get through with the boys. We've got fans' questions again, as always. And we've also got a prize giveaway from our sponsor, Midas Cladding of Middlesbrough. So to help me get through all that in an hour, I have Mr. Graham Bandira, who's back. Welcome, Bandy.
Cheers. Welcome. Morning.
And we'll have Mr. John Cutler. Welcome, John.
Morning, chaps.
Yeah, it should be an interesting podcast today. But I think rather than start off with the obvious one, talking about Rob Edwards, which we'll get into, I think there's people that deserve our time more, and that's the players, the staff, and the fans of Middlesbrough Football Club who've had a traumatic 48 hours. So I'd like to start by going back to Leicester 1, Middlesbrough 1 on Tuesday at the King Power Stadium. Ayew with a penalty on 45 minutes put Leicester 1-0 up. Middlesbrough battled back, showing real quality in the second half, and a lead down Luke Ayling in the 96th minute got Middlesbrough what was, in my opinion, a real valuable point in the season. So I'll start with you, Graham, because obviously you're a big fan of Luke Ayling, and that was a big point that Luke Ayling got us on the Tuesday night, wasn't it?
Huge point. I mean, he's the catalyst for me for everything we do well in that team, and he showed real leadership qualities in a performance that wasn't great. I mean, Edwards came out and he said that we played great, but he must have been on another different planet that night, because I didn't think we were great at all. I thought we were laboured, passive, sluggish, just couldn't get going in that final third. We created absolutely next to nothing. Obviously, an unfortunate decision against Hackney where the ball sort of bounced up and it spun, and he's quickly reacted and it's touched his arm. I thought initially, oh, that's a penalty. Obviously, it was given. Don't think they were warranted a lead. I thought they were as bad as us on the night. They were shocking, to be honest. So I was pretty gutted that we were going in 1-0 down. And we were much better second half. We had a go, bit more impetus, bit more intensity. And we got our rewards in the end. You got to keep plugging away, as they say. And 96 minutes, up pops the main man, Ayling, with a fantastic header. Credit to Conway for keeping the ball in play, to play it back to Britton, who did a wonderful Cruyff turn and an instant cross and a banging header, thumping header, top corner. Brilliant celebrations, best cartwheel I've ever seen in my life. It was just a joyous moment, and that's the sort of moment that galvanises team and fans, and you can kick on from there. And who expected what was to come?
Cuts, you're the Callum Britton enthusiast. That was a wonderful bit of skill by Callum Britton. Cross, fantastic header by Luke Ayling. And it was a big moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, good points on the road. You know, we obviously it's big to pick up points on the road and be winning at home. You're not losing. So Britain did excellent, great header from Ayling. But I thought second half we actually played pretty well. If you look at Conway, missed a decent chance. McGree put one just over the bar, and I think that needs mentioning because I thought McGree made a huge difference when he came on.
Yeah.
Showed us exactly what he can do. It's about keeping him fit, keeps the ball, plays in there, making runs behind defences. I thought he made a huge difference, to be honest, and I'm absolutely buzzing to see him back in and around the first team, and as we will talk about later, starting yesterday. So superb.
Yeah, great point, Cuts. Magical feat.
He was a big difference, Riley McGree, in the second half, and you know that went into Saturday's game as well, which we'll get into now. So we'll rock up at the Riverside yesterday, obviously, which we'll get into regarding Rob Edwards shortly. Adi Viveash took charge with Harry Watland, Craig Little, the academy coach. Middlesbrough started the game yesterday with Sol Bryn in goal, Callum Britton, Luke Ayling, Dael Fry, Matt Targett, Morris and Brown. Then McGree, Hackney and Morgan Whittaker were behind Tommy Conway. That was the starting 11. What was your thoughts, Cuts, on the atmosphere before the game and the starting lineup?
Yeah, well, we were in the fan zone. We had a bit of a chat about it. I wasn't too sure about Whittaker starting, to be honest, but to be honest, looking back, I have no idea who's picked the team. I have no idea who's picked the team, but if it's Edwards, you can understand him putting Whittaker in. But yeah, I suppose Strelic didn't do himself any favours on Tuesday night, so he wasn't kicking the door down to be starting. So yeah, I suppose happy enough with the starting 11. I mentioned at Watford last week that I didn't want them to scrap the 3 players in midfield. Maybe you can move about which personnel playing there, but I don't mind having the three of them playing together. I think it could work long term.
Bandy, were you happy with the starting 11 before the game?
Relatively, yeah. I was quite pleased that Bergzorg wasn't in the team, because I just think he gives the ball away too much and he just slows things down when we're countering or when we're attacking. So yeah, I was relatively pleased. Another chance for Whittaker. I thought he was slightly better than he has been, but I'd still try and find a place for possibly Hansen or Naipan in that side. But yeah, it was certainly good enough to have beaten Birmingham on the day pre-game. It gave me a bit of optimism. I quite like the fact that we played the 3 in terms of Brown, Hackney and Morris in that midfield. Hackney in more of an advanced role, like you say, in the 4-2-3-1, but out of possession, he was dropping straight back in, so it became a solid 3. And I thought throughout the game, we won that midfield battle, which was integral to that victory. And I always say games are won in midfield, and we spoke about it during the game. Dicko, you were saying possibly make subs, and I said I'd try my damnedest to keep them 3 players on the pitch, and I think they saw us over the line in the end. But yeah, like I say, back to the starting lineup, relatively happy, and we started really, really well. First 15-20 minutes, we got at them. Thought we were excellent, and I thought obviously the game, there's ebbs and flows. There's opportunities for Birmingham to come into the game. Obviously, we had forced substitutions as well, which caused us to change shape. But whatever shape we played yesterday, I thought we were adaptable, and I thought we were brilliant. And I thought Adi Viveash and Harry Watling coached us through that game magnificently. And you got to be thankful to the players who put in 100%. They were brilliant yesterday. Fans, players, coaching staff, everybody was galvanised, and it made it very, very difficult for Birmingham to break us down. Got to credit them second half. They came at us. They swung so many balls into the box, and we had probably the smallest defence out we're going to put this season, and we dealt with it admirably, just down to positioning, organisation. Thought Ayling marshalled that back line terrifically well, and it was a brilliant performance. So yeah, more than pleased with that. Not one I expected, to be honest, considering what's been going on in the last 48 hours, or possibly before. We'll never know.
Cuts, it was really poignant, I thought, yesterday, on the day of all days, that it happened to be, given, it was Remembrance Day, so we're going to honour the armed forces who died in the line of duty for us. We also had the tribute for a colossus of a man in Stuart Bohm on the 5th minute, 1970s hero to many, many Middlesbrough fans on the same day. And the fans, you could sense, were disappointed, were angry at what's happened. They felt aggrieved. And right from the off, the fans backed the team for the full 90 minutes. And we got that back in abundance from the team. And it was also poignant as well that in the game, Sol Bryn in goal, Teesside, big hands, big heart, come and claimed everything in the game. Dael Fry, who was struggling to be fit for the game anyway, told the manager, Viveash, that he wanted to play, give his all for what he could, scored a goal, put Middlesbrough in front before having to go off through injury. George McCormack, who we've mentioned, came on, played out of position at the back, really difficult for him, was superb, again, red car lad, give his all for the shirt. And Hayden Hackney, the main man again, best player on the pitch, scores, in my opinion, he meant to do what he done on the goal. Lovely little flick, sent the goalkeeper the wrong way. Teesside won the day for Middlesbrough yesterday. It was a fantastic day, I thought, both on and off the pitch, in the stands and on the pitch. It was a day that I think Teesside, when you left that ground, you felt 6 foot, 7 foot tall. You felt proud to support this football club, to be part of this football club. And it was a real day where, when you got back home and you start thinking back, a day that could have went so dramatically wrong for many, many reasons ended in a day of pride for Teesside.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think I tweeted last night, I felt 10 feet tall coming out of that ground, and it wasn't just due to the players. It was times of adversity, I think I had a feeling before the game that the atmosphere was going to be really good. I think you can sense it sometimes when you're in the fan zone or wherever you go for a pint or a bit of a chat with your pals. I think you could sense it, and I thought from minute 1 to 90, was it the best performance we'll ever put in? Probably not. But for determination, grit, togetherness, fans, players, chairman, everyone who cares about the football club at the moment, I think that a certain member of staff that is still on the books currently, but not for too long, was on about togetherness. Well, he wasn't there yesterday, and we showed more togetherness yesterday than you couldn't have wished for anything better, in my opinion. It was fantastic. Everything I love about following this football club and the people around the area, fantastic. Buzzing.
Yeah. Never ceased to amaze me that the Middlesbrough fans, as I say, yesterday could have went so wrong for so many reasons, and yet everybody stepped up, got the job done. We're sitting second in the league now, going into international break. Obviously, we're going to have to look for a new head coach, but it was a great end to the international. Going into international break in second, and the job now, to be fair, is going to be a one that many coaches around this country and in Europe, I think, will be looking at, because Middlesbrough in a good place, financially off the pitch, in the stands with the fans, and we've got a good squad, so we should be a job that many coaches will be looking at. Come to you, Bandy, on Adi Viveash. After the game, he spoke, of his pride of taking the team, the club, his pride in the team, the players, the supporters. Said all the right things, did Adi, after the game, didn't he?
I thought his interview was absolutely magnificent, impeccable. In all my years following Boro, following certain managers, players, that's arguably one of the best interviews post-match I've ever heard. I tweeted it was almost Churchillian. I was driving home and the hairs on the back of my neck. Me and Harry was sat in the car listening to it. I couldn't believe what I was listening to. It was eloquent. It was just beautiful. So good. You'd absolutely bust walls down to play for that guy. You really would. And if he's speaking to you, you listen. He sort of gave me Sir Bobby Robson vibes, what he was saying and the way he was delivering what his points were. They were very succinct, and yeah, it was magnificent. So please, can we keep him in whatever capacity? Whether he's an interim manager for a few weeks to tide us over, I don't know. Whether he's going to be a number 2 head coach or whatever, I do not know. But please ensure that he stays on that coaching staff, because you could see the togetherness between him and the players. Poor guy got pushed up towards the end at the Red Faction, and he obviously, it's not his game. He didn't really want to do that, but he did it. He went up there and he took the plaudits, but he emphasised straight away that it was a team effort, not just down to him. And absolutely no mention whatsoever of Rob Edwards, which I thought was classy. He just batted that one away quite quickly, and it was all about the team yesterday, and he unified that team. I thought he was brilliant. And Coventry fans will say the same thing about him. So he's got this aura within the game, and it's imperative that we can try and keep him.
He was asked after the game if he'd be interested in the role, was Adi, and he said, "Today is about the players and the supporters. Tomorrow we'll wake up. It'll be another day. Life moves on, and that's subject for the club and the powers that be. I'm grateful I was given the opportunity, and I hope I took it the right way. Thankfully, we've given the fans a good day at the end of a difficult week, and I mean playing well. We've had 3 tough games. There was a lot of tiredness anyway, but it was very, very important 3 points, and that's the main thing." So he didn't distance himself from taking the job.
No, it was cleverly done. Yeah, it'd be, I don't know. It's probably too. We're jumping the gun a bit, suggesting that he could be the manager, but you'd certainly think he would be capable, because he definitely got a tune from the players yesterday, and he said obviously he was going to enjoy 1 glass of red. If I was him, I'd be having a few more last night. He was brilliant. He was so good.
So guys, we'll get into the main talking point of the day, which is obviously Rob Viper. But I don't know what's wrong with me today, honestly. I keep Rob Edwards. So before the game cuts, Middlesbrough fans had a tweet from Middlesbrough Football Club saying, "Middlesbrough Football Club, subject to the completion of an agreement with Wolverhampton Wanderers, have given head coach Rob Edwards the permission to speak to Wolves. We initially rejected an approach from Wolves on the basis that Rob signed a 3-year contract with MFC less than 6 months ago. Following discussions with Rob, We are disappointed to learn that he wanted to speak to Wolves regarding their head coach vacancy. We have now agreed terms with Wolves, subject to completion of the relevant paperwork. So, what was your initial thoughts on hearing that on your way to the game, Cuts?
Well, he's made a real asp of himself, hasn't he? let's be honest. It's infuriating, but it's modern football. I've got a side of me that can see that these things happen all over. But as a fan, it's infuriating. He's come in here, he's spouted off from day one, family, this, that, and the other. We're all together. First Premier League job that comes along, he's off. He hasn't gone to a Brighton, a Bournemouth, someone that's established. He's gone to Wolves, where we're probably going to go down. And there's a high chance that we could be waving past him. Well, in fact, if they go down, he won't be in the Championship next year because he'll be gone again. And then other chairmen will be looking at him and thinking, I'm not going anywhere near him because he'll do early for 5 minutes and then he'll be off somewhere. I can't understand it, me. Everything he said, I feel like it's been a load of baloney, just saying what he thinks the fans want to hear. Very disappointing. But as a club, we showed yesterday we can move on without Rob Edwards. And I'm quite happy to do so now. I don't want people to be here that don't want to be here. The South Stand banner yesterday was perfect. Absolutely. Players, the fans will be here long after players and managers. If they don't want to be here, see you later. That's my point of view.
Bandy, I've just read the tweet out from Middlesbrough Football Club regarding his departure. I'll just read you this one out from when Rob Edwards left Forest Green Rovers.
Yeah.
Forest Green Rovers confirmed the departure of head coach Rob Edwards and assistant coach Richie Kyle. Rob and Richie were a key part of the team that gained promotion to League One this season. We're disappointed that our support, loyalty and honesty towards Rob has been repaid in this way, with negotiations taking place behind our backs. We had no contact from Watford, from whom we might expect less, but in any event, this kind of behaviour gives football a bad name. We thank Rob for all of his work for Forest Green Rovers, forgive him the manner of his departure, and wish him well. So the guy's got form, hasn't he?
You just said it. You beat me to it. He's got form. Whether or not we've done our homework on that, maybe we've looked at that quote previous and dismissed it. I don't know. Don't know how much due diligence was done in the interview process, but he certainly duped myself, you guys, and the rest of the fan base and players and staff and the chairman. I don't know what we're allowed to say on it in terms of name calling, but a charlatan's probably what I would say. A chancer in the game, very selfish, self-centered individual. I always say there's no I in team, and with him, dear me, I mean, yeah, it was a poor move. One of the worst career moves he'll ever make, in my opinion, because it'll go really, really south quickly at Molineux. They're a basket case of a club at the moment. He's jumped from a very aspiring, ambitious club to a club which is going nowhere. The only place it's going for me is the Championship, and he'll be struggling next season to even get them up. That's even if he's still in a job, because they've got an ownership model there which just doesn't warrant what he expects from the game. A very, very clueless approach to the whole thing for me. Yes, I was conned by him. I bought into him. I wasn't 100% at first when he came in, because I thought there was better managers out there that I would have liked. However, I gave him a chance. He won me over quite quickly. I did stress numerous times on here about his bond with the Longlands club and the Red Faction. I thought that was a great move, getting fans on board quickly. Nice touch from the Longlands club yesterday with the little picture that they put out with the little rat on the chalkboard. That was lovely. More than what he deserves. Yeah. Well, that's the sort of treatment he's given us, so we got to give a bit back. But yeah, I just don't think he'll succeed in what he's trying to do. The minute he brought his daughter into the equation and said that the first he knew about the link with Wolves, he said, "My daughter told me." That's. I'll be honest, I think that's utter tosh. I really do, and that angered me, and I thought from there on in, we're in trouble. We're in a situation now that we don't need to be in, and he's brought it all on himself. I'm sure there'll have been tenuous links with Wolves prior to that little leak about his daughter. I didn't think that was right. Bringing your family into a situation, that was just wrong. And from there on in, it was only going to go one way, and he was coming out. Well, he was going to be removed from the club. Gibson's acted strongly, which I expect, and it's what we wanted him to have done. So we move on, and it proved yesterday that we don't need Rob Edwards. What we need is the players that we've got, showing that level of passion and capability, and it soars through, and it won the day. And there's only one winner, and that's Teesside, and not Rob Edwards.
Absolutely.
Well said, Graham. I've got to be honest. I was absolutely gutted midweek when I found out that there was a possibility of him leaving. I was probably out the three with the one that really wanted Rob Edwards. Used to at the start, thought there was better options out there, but you bought into it when he joined the club. I was one that actually actively was happy to get Rob Edwards right from the start. I thought he would bring what he brought, which was unity, togetherness, a bond, bringing the fans and the players together. That's exactly what he done. I went up to Glasgow Rangers with the other 7,000 Middlesbrough supporters pre-season. I seen him come to the stand. He said after the game he was nearly in tears with emotion. He'd never seen support like that in a pre-season game, and the backing that he's seen in the stands got him emotional and really got to him. So straight away from the off, I was bought into the fact that, you know, he's emotionally attached to Middlesbrough. The fact that you said, Bandy, went on the clubs and the pubs of Middlesbrough, meeting supporters, engaging with supporters, really backing the supporters. And then there become that moment when we had Morgan Whittaker getting jeered at Preston when he went off, and Rob Edwards stepped up to the plate and said, whoa, we don't get on the backs of one of our own. We're the Boro family. We don't do that. Now, a lot of Middlesbrough fans would have took exception to a manager telling them what to do with the game, but Middlesbrough fans didn't. They accepted what Rob said because they thought that he had bought into the football club and was our leader, so we'd done exactly what our leader told us to do, which is, you know, back the team even more. Morgan Whittaker got, you know, a lot of praise at the next home game, got thrown out in front of the South Stand to get his, you know, when he scored at the South Stand. Morgan Whittaker got his love back from the stands, all through Rob Edwards, and what Rob Edwards had wanted the fans to act like. So we were all right on board the Rob Edwards train, going towards the Premier League. And then it come out, obviously, around the Leicester game, you know, that there's Wolves were linked with him. And he had a couple of opportunities both before and after the Leicester game to completely quash the rumour. That didn't happen. But even then, maybe naively from my point of view, because Wolves hadn't approached Middlesbrough officially, I thought he was just playing the game and there was no way he was going to go. I seen him dancing up the touchline against Leicester when Hayden equalised, and I thought, this guy is all in for this team. The passion he's shown still at Leicester up and down the line when the equaliser went in. In my heart of hearts, I thought, there's no way this guy's leaving. I put out a couple of tweets on social media saying, you know, let's give him his chance before we'll play Birmingham to come out and put the record straight. And that's all I was asking on my messages on social media. Let's see what the guy says before the Birmingham game. And then, of course, it comes out, press conference cancelled. He hasn't taken training. And I've got to say, I was absolutely gutted, because my thinking was the repercussions of what's going to happen for the Birmingham game and for the rest of the season. And I just feel so let down by the guy. I feel so hurt by the guy. And I also now think he's given us a huge problem moving forward with any Middlesbrough manager that comes through the door, because we've been burnt before with Chris Wilder. We've now been burnt even more so with Rob Edwards. So the next manager that comes through the door, what's he supposed to say to the Middlesbrough supporters? If he says nothing, he'll get accused of being Michael Carrick-esque and have no personality. If he comes out and, you know, goes down the line of Middlesbrough's a big club, big opportunity, I'm happy to be here, we're just going to say, oh, what's he talking about? It's just another Rob Edwards spiel. So he's really put the next manager in a difficult position as well. And I'm so angry about it, it's unbelievable, because I really love the fact that we've been so together as fans and, you know, fans and players this season. It's been a big thing for me. So that's why my pride was massive yesterday when the supporters galvanised the team, and we got that result in spite of you, Rob Edwards. We got the result in spite of you, and I'm absolutely gutted with the way it's ended. And it'll be hard to forgive that man for what he's done. Cuts, your thoughts on Rob Edwards?
Just the same. For me now, it's Robbo. It's gone. One thing I will say that he's done, We're second in the league. We are a far more attractive opposition to managers now than we were in the summer.
Great point.
I think the quality and the standard of managers that will be applying for the job over the next week to 10 days will be far higher and superior than what was applying in the summer. I think there's some good candidates out there that have been recently let go by their clubs or have left via mutual consent. I think there's a few good options out there for me. So, yeah, Rob, we enjoyed you 12 games in charge, but enjoy Wolves. And this is no criticism of Wolves, by the way, because they're a fine club.
No,
this is a criticism of Rob Edwards. So,
many Wolves supporters don't want him there because they could probably see what's happening now to what's happened to us. I made a joke that I questioned his loyalty that much that if West Brom come knocking, he'd probably go there. They're nearest rivals. He just seems that sort of guy. And yeah, I was 100% duped by him. Still angry in the sense that feel like I've been rinsed a bit. And believed what he was saying. You've eloquently put it, Dicko. Building that, galvanising that fan base of one big family. We're all together, and the only person that's not involved in it and together is Rob Edwards. So he'll catch him up. It'll bite him on the backside at some point, 100%. And yeah, he reached his sword.
I'm just waiting. If it gets announced in the morning, it'll be in their local pub with the Gold Faction or whatever they're called tomorrow night to build bridges. Oh, I've always wanted to be here, blah, blah, blah. Believe everything I say like the previous club did. Yeah.
Makes me laugh like he's going back like some sort of legend, like Tony Mowbray returning to Middlesbrough or something.
I know.
The guy played about 100 games. He wasn't a fantastic player for Wolves. He's no Wolves legend. He's got a few links, but I don't think the Wolves fans are absolutely excited that Rob Edwards is coming through the door.
A club of that standing and stature in the game, they're a massive club, Wolves. They're a brilliant club. I feel like it's the situation at Sheffield Wednesday. They're similar clubs, huge fan base, potential's massive. Wolves should be going for bigger and better managers than Rob Edwards. Dear me, they must be desperate, really desperate, because his track record is mixed. He's a mixed bag. We got lucky with him. He left us third in the table. Thanks to Viveash, we're now second. So if we're thankful for anything, he left us in a good position, but good riddance. That is it. When he started giving them political answers as well, when he was questioned, he was asked 3 times since the link with when he mentioned his daughter, and I just thought, just be honest, just come out and say, I'm staying here. That's a tenuous link, but it turned out that it obviously wasn't. I'm sure he'll have been speaking a lot sooner than what we thought.
One thing that has come from it,
if I were an agent, I suspect.
One thing that has come from it that I think is going to be a good thing for the rest of the season is it's very much now at Middlesbrough Football Club, and I spoke this with Gary Phillips in the fan zone. Fans have now woken up to the idea that actually it's I don't mean this in a bad way. It's like it's them and us. It doesn't matter who's in charge of Middlesbrough Football Club in terms of a chairman or a manager or coaches or even the players. What's important is the fans, because the fans are the heartbeat of this football club. Without the fans, there's no club. And fans are now galvanised together in that as long as we stick together, this club will be okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not many clubs could have had that happen to them, so close to a game, and galvanise the team the way we did yesterday. And I think the fans for the rest of the season now are going to be a tight knit community where we're just going to back the team no matter what and see where it takes us.
Yeah,
it's a good point. It's a good point that you're saying about the fans backing the team. But yesterday the team backed the fans. Yeah, because we went down. We hardly had any defenders at the end. Every single player that was left on that pitch at the end, whether absolutely shattered or not, they were putting in the hard yards. For me, I thought they were going to get an equaliser, especially when it kept going to Roberts on the right-hand side. I thought he was a threat all game. But the players didn't stop for one moment. Now, for that, they deserve massive credit, because some of them will be really close with Rob Edwards. But yesterday, they put everything on the line for each and every one of us in that stand. So that's all I ever ask for as a fan. That's why I left the ground yesterday feeling absolutely euphoric, 10 feet tall. Thank you to each and every one of them players for that yesterday.
Yeah.
There'll have been
look at Matt Target playing with his foot, and stitches in his foot.
Exactly.
All the rest of it. Dael Fry playing through injury. Luke Ayling playing like a proper captain. McCormack coming on, the local lad putting his body on the line. It was a each and every one of them, like you say,
absolutely,
were fantastic yesterday, and it was great to see. It really was.
There'll have been one, Dicko, there'll have been one fan yesterday who was watching from the stands, sat next to a certain Mr. Steve Gibson, Brian Robson, one of my heroes.
Captain
He was the
Marvel.
embodiment of spirit, grit, determination, aggression, tenacity, the will to lead. He'll have enjoyed that performance yesterday, and it was brilliant to see him back at the Riverside in whatever capacity. But yeah, I'm a massive Robbo fan, and it was class when I saw him sat up in the stand next to Gibbo. He'll have enjoyed Hackney's performance yesterday, no doubt, as well.
One other legend, Bandy of ours, and who was there yesterday, Mr.
Yeah, there he is.
Mr. Bernard Joseph Slavin.
Hello.
Great
Snap.
minds think alike. Now, it's just got me thinking this, Cuts. Last Thursday, Bernie had his 40 years due on Teesside.
He did.
And they had every Boro legend they can think of. You know, they had a Bruce Rioch was on the screen. He's incapacitated at the minute with his hip, but he put a video out for Bernie talking about the 86 days when they come back from the brink and were playing for nothing, weren't getting paid. You had Tony Mowbray there, Gary Pallister there. All these Boro legends were there. And who was there? Mr. Rob Edwards. He was on the stage. He took the microphone, said a few words. And I just thought, how have you sat there last Thursday night and listened to these players who've put the bodies on the line on the pitch when they weren't even getting paid to keep this football club and the heartbeat of the town alive? And you've stood there and sat amongst these people and heard the stories and talked to these people. And then you've left the town hall on Thursday, and within a week, you're off to Wolves. You know, you absolute so-and-so. I have to watch me words, but yeah.
You still angry, Dicko?
I'm fuming. Yeah, because it means a lot to me, this football club, and
Me too,
those players that we're mentioning at the town hall. To think our manager, our leader, was sitting amongst those greats, talking, even to be on the same stage as them and talking with the microphone.
The contrast's frightening in loyalty, isn't it?
It's horrendous. Yeah.
I'll tell you what the scary thing is. The scary thing is he hasn't actually signed a contract with Wolves yesterday. And after about 7 minutes yesterday, the tune was going around on it. Do 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 do. Now surely, if it all goes pear-shaped at Wolves here, which probably it won't, but if it does, how's he coming back to that stadium?
Yeah.
He's not.
Exactly.
Yeah. It would be nice if we drew Wolves in the FA Cup just for the banter, wouldn't it? That would be nice.
Oh, yes.
That would be a lovely draw.
Be lovely. A beautiful
one that every
moment.
Middlesbrough fan will be actually hoping happens, actually. Right. Just going to give our sponsors a plug. Midas Cladding of Middlesbrough, fantastic sponsors of this podcast, as you guys know. And we always give prizes away. We're the only Boro podcast that does this. Every month we give away free prizes. So this month we're going to give away 2 games, FC 26 and Football Manager 26. And we're going to give you the chance to pick whichever console you'd like the game for. So if you win, you can pick your console, whether it be Xbox, PlayStation, Windows, PC, Nintendo, whatever. You can pick whichever one you want. It'll be a fantastic Christmas present if you win it and don't play games. You can pass it on to one of your friends or your family for Christmas if you want to. And all you've got to do is the usual. Retweet the prize tweet on X or Facebook. And what I'm going to ask you to do is, this week, is leave a snake emoji to enter for free. Just stick a snake emoji in the tweet. And also, if you enter on Facebook and you enter on X, you'll be entered to the draw free twice. So I can't be any fairer than that. So just retweet them on X, retweet them on Facebook, stick your snake emoji in, and see if you can win yourself a free game. Can't say fairer than that, come on, chaps. So we're just going to get into Middlesbrough's upcoming games after the international break. We don't know if we're going to have a manager or not. And the 6 games we've got after the international break is away to Oxford. Then we've got the small matter of Coventry in our next home game at the Riverside, which is going to be a cracking game at the Riverside Stadium against Coventry. Then we've got home to Derby, away to Hull, away to Charlton, and home to Queen's Park Rangers. So, guys, I've had a little bit look on the managerial front. At the moment, at the bookies, the favourite, I mean, it's so early days, I can't believe these are even in the frame, but at the moment, the favourite's Carlos Corberán. Gary O'Neill, Tony Mowbray, which we don't see happening, Stephen Gerrard, Brendan Rodgers, Robbie Keane, Russell Martin, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Dave Challoner, Victor Pereira. They're in the running at the moment at the bookies. Do you guys have any inkling of who you'd like to take over at the moment at Middlesbrough Football Club?
Well, for me, Gary O'Neill and Russell Martin, they can jog on. So don't want them anywhere near this football club. I mentioned to you yesterday, there's a couple of managers that stand out for me. So I've mentioned Stephen Gerrard in the summer. He's one. He's a natural born winner. I've said before, won the league at Rangers when they had an inferior squad to Celtic. So it's about how you win. He's good with the press, can handle certain situations really well. Brendan Rodgers is another one. I'm not sure whether he'd come to the Championship, but I would certainly take him here. And Ange Postecoglou managed Riley for Australia, did really well at Celtic, did well in his first year at Tottenham, not so well in the second year, but still won a cup. 8 games at Nottingham Forest was nowhere near long enough. He's going to have the bit between his teeth and go, I tell you what, I need to rebuild my managerial career a little bit here. I've got a chance to go there and get them promoted back into the Premier League, and my stock's going to go right up. So he's going to be hungry. So there's a couple of managers, 2 especially that I wouldn't have here, and 3 that I would take here. But it is early days.
For what it's worth, I'll say that I would like Middlesbrough to look abroad. I thought that before we got Rob Edwards, I was thinking back to when we brought Aito Karanka in, nobody knew who he was, come in, done a fantastic job. There'd be plenty managers, I think, abroad that would look at Middlesbrough now as a huge opportunity. So I would hope Middlesbrough casting the nets and having a look abroad. Ralph Hasenhüttl done a decent job at Southampton. Possible contender. But personally, at the moment, I'm quite happy to leave it as it is. If he's happy to continue in charge, Adi Viveash, with Harry Watling, I would be quite happy for them to take charge of the next few games. I don't think there's any real panic to get a manager in. I know it's international break, so it's an opportunity, but I don't think there's a real panic. I would even be happy to say, well, look, we'll leave it for a few weeks. We can still be looking for another manager, either home or abroad. And if we don't bring one in even until just before January, that would be an option for me as well, because if it's not broken, why try and fix it? But Bandy, I'll come to you. Have you got any ideas who you'd like to be next Middlesbrough manager?
I've got a similar approach to Cuts. I've got 2 ways of looking at this. If we want a little bit of continuity and just to remain calm, there's no panic. We're second in the league, so we're not dropping like a stone or sat in a relegation spot. We're very, very comfortable. We've got a decent coaching staff at the moment. I believe Adi Viveash will stay at the club, which is imperative to keep us ticking along nicely. Like I said earlier, he's got the respect of all the players. So if he can remain in some capacity high up in that coaching staff, I think we're onto a good thing. Personally, I would just like to see us tick over short term. And I know you said you wouldn't have him, but I think, health permitting, Tony Mowbray would just be a solid, deputable, safe pair of hands just to keep us ticking along. There's no issue with loyalty. There's no issue with family living away. He's on the doorstep. I don't like the cliche, he knows the club inside out, because you can know a club inside out and still do a crap job. But I just think he's that glue between support and players. He knows how to set up an attack inside, which for me is where we're lacking. I think the centre-back situation, wing-backs, defensive side of things takes care of itself. So I don't think we'd need to tinker with that too much. I just think we could use Tony Mowbray's powers to assemble a forward line which could get more output. So short term, I think Tony Mowbray would be a good, solid solution. Long term, I'm a bit of a dreamer, and I look back at the Robson days when we brought Brian Robson in, and I think Stephen Gerrard could have that same impact. His managerial stint was somewhat tarnished at Villa. I think he was probably demanding more from the players, and at that point, the players weren't putting it in for him. It's not an excuse because he didn't do a particularly great job, but he certainly got Rangers up and running, and John rightly points out they were playing second fiddle to Celtic for a long while before he galvanised them and took them to the top and won trophies. So he's got that winning mentality. He's a bit of a street fighter, as Gerrard, and I quite like that in him. and I think he could bond quickly with support. Supporters would get straight behind him. I don't think there's anything particularly sneaky about him. I think he would sort of display great levels of loyalty. So I think he could be an option. And my wild card is a manager I've watched for about 4 or 5 years now. It's Liam Rossini. Really like that guy. He came through the ranks at Derby, and then he got a good opportunity at Hull. He was doing really well, and then he's out in France now, and he's having success there. So he's probably one of the young, up and coming, progressive managers that we could recruit and go down that route and try and build these awful 5-year plan scenarios. But you just gotta get a manager when you can get him, and just hope that things click. I'm not a fan of these projects, but I think he could deliver in time. But I think we've got to look short term. Steve Gibson will not want to go down a long, drawn-out recruitment process yet again. He's probably got other issues on his mind in terms of lawyers and Wolves. So I think short term, I think Tony Mowbray would be an able fit.
Fair
and
enough,
I think he could work well with Adi Viveash, because there's a respect there. But there's no panic. We've got Coventry next, and if anyone on that coaching staff knows Coventry inside out, then it's Adi Viveash. So I'd be keen to have him on board to try and outfox what they're doing, because they're flying. Lampard's a great manager. He's another guy I would love here, but obviously that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I think it's pretty evident that Middlesbrough don't usually go to clubs with a manager who's in post. You know, we generally get a manager that's available, out of work. I was actually looking today at Middlesbrough's managerial appointments, and I don't think we've actually taken a manager on at the Riverside since the Riverside Stadium has been built. That was at another club. The last one I could find.
Pay compensation.
No, the last one I could find was Lenny Lawrence in 1991 when we took him from Charlton. From Charlton, yeah, that was a bit of a mess as well at the time. And that's the last one we've taken from another club. So I think the law of, the percentages says that we're going to get a manager that's not in work or available. So I'd imagine Gibson will go down that route again. I wouldn't mind, though, to change it up for a bit for us to take a manager from another club. The other clubs do it. I don't see why we can't, other than financial reasons. But depends who's available. As you say, you hear the names linked, don't you? Mark Robbins is being linked if he's doing well at Stoke. The Millwall manager, his name escapes us. Alex Neil. Yeah, Alex Neil. He's been linked. I'm sure Alex Neil would have his head turned to come to Middlesbrough if we did.
He's had his head turned. He jumped ship, didn't he, Alex Neil?
Yeah, but for me, it doesn't excite me. Alex Neil, to be fair, doesn't excite me at all.
Me neither.
We'll jump into some fans' questions for you guys. Some questions have come in from the fans. I'll start with Rob Watson, who asks, did anyone else notice a difference in Rob Edwards just before the Watford game? I didn't want to call it out, but his demeanour for the Watford press conference stood out to me. Was he tapped up before Wolves sacked the manager?
I noticed a difference in performance. We were coasting along quite nicely, and then that Watford game was like, where did that come from? It's a shambolic performance. He tried to defend it by saying we played really well. He also tried to defend the performance at Leicester by saying we played really well. We didn't play well in both of them games. And it makes me begin to think now, did the players have an inkling? As a few rumours going around on the WhatsApp group with the players? Who knows? But there was certainly a massive dip and a contrast in ability.
It's a good point you mentioned there, Bandy. Did you see that, Cuts? Because if you do think back, and I've been seeing it on the podcast for a while,
3-0.
The performances of late haven't been great. There has been a genuine decline, I think, over Rob Edwards' time here. If you look from his first game to his last game, there has been a bit of a decline. And what stands out to me is, for a manager that thinks so highly of himself, he never ever knew his best 11.
You can say about the performances, but ultimately it's the players who were going out on the pitch. Will he have known about Wolves' interest probably as early as the Watford game? I would imagine he did. Someone will have been on the phone to him, top secret. Look, they've sacked the manager. Would you be interested if this came available? Yep, of course I would. Fantastic. I'll jump ship and leave Middlesbrough, no problem at all. But the players wouldn't have knew about that.
But if that filters through to the players and he's talking about being a family, you're going to think, see you later, son, you know.
Absolutely.
It's going to affect your performance. You're going to be royally paid off. But we're surmising, so we can't stand that up.
It's just guesswork, isn't it? That so.
Yeah.
Louise Donaldson's asked who would be an ideal choice for next manager. Well, we've just discussed that, Louise. So take what you want from that.
Did Louise pick anyone?
No, she didn't. She didn't. No.
She was disagreeing with me on my tweets. I don't think she wants Tony Mowbray, but she's a good lass, Lou, so I'll forgive her.
Well, I agree with you, Louise. I don't think Tony Mowbray should come back either. Dan Ward, off the top. First off, top class from the lads today. Thought McGree showed what we've been missing, and every single player's effort was outstanding. What's Bangura got to do to get some minutes? Silvera is pants, but he has pace. Bangura has pace and some other tools in his locker. So he's Dan Ward is, obviously McGree done. I'm going to throw a question into you guys as well. First of all, before we answer Dan Ward's question, what's your thoughts on Riley McGree turning up again, getting called up for Australia?
Well, I was gutted when I seen that.
I was as well. It's not his fault.
No, it's
John.
not. It's not his fault at all. But when I seen the international call-ups and nowadays, because of my dodgy eyes, got to press on it to scroll in to see who's been called up and where they're going. As soon as I seen McGree Australia, I was like, oh, please just say you've just got back to full fitness. You want to stay and get yourself fully fit at Rockcliffe. I mean, is it friendlies? Is it World Cup qualifiers? Because if it's friendlies, surely there's no problem with him saying, look, I need to get myself fully fit for the club. If it's a World Cup qualifier, fair enough. But yeah, good, because you all know how big a fan I am of Riley, and when he gets fully fit, he's going to be absolutely massive for this football club this season. Last thing I want to see him doing is flying halfway around the country to go and play in a friendly.
So to answer your question, Cuts, it's two friendlies. They play away to Venezuela on the 15th of November, and then they play away to Colombia on the 19th of November. And both games, I'm sure both games are being played in the United States of America.
Right. So he's come on at Leicester, right? And he's transformed the last 15, 20 minutes of that game. He's had a massive impact. He had a barnstorming game yesterday. Just class. Graceful, elegant, twinkle toes, beautiful touches, involved in everything we do well in that final third. And can I remind everybody why we call ourselves the typical Boro podcast? Because you know what's going to happen when he plays these pointless games on the other side of the world. He's going to come back with an injury just when we've got him back, and he's playing really well. So yeah, I think it's nonsense. But if you called up for your country, I guess you've got to show loyalty, I guess.
Into Dan Ward's point regarding why we're playing Silvera over Bangura, what's Bangura got to do to get a game?
Well, we don't know what he's like in training. We don't know how much of a risk it is to actually play him. Is he fully recovered from his injury, or they're just putting him on the bench because we have to and we've got to make up numbers? I don't know. Well, Sammy's a trier. He's not a bad little player, but he's just playing out of position. I thought he did okay yesterday. He was obviously pushed for their goal, which was a joke decision, by the way. He does look like a fish out of water sometimes when he's tested defensively. But going forward, I think he offers us an outlet. And I like it when he drifts inside. He got a good shot away yesterday as well, which, the keeper gathered straight at him. But no, he's got qualities, but there's certainly better players out there or, available within our squad, I think. So it would be nice to try Bangura to see if he's up to it.
I think if you look at Silvera as well, I think he's been slightly unfortunate that the twice he's come in. First time he was up against Sorba Thomas, and the second time yesterday he's up against Patrick Roberts, who, to be fair, I liked him when he was here. I've always thought he's a canny, tricky player and can open up defences. So he's had two really tough opponents. Now, do I want to see him starting left back? We discussed this with Ray last week. No, I certainly don't. But you can't fault him for his effort and how much he put into the game yesterday. I thought going forward he looked okay, to be fair. A couple of times went past players. He had that shot, I think, was it first half? He tested the keeper. So I'm not going to sit here and criticise him. He's been up against two really good high-end championship players, in my opinion. So
I thought he started the season really well, actually. But yeah, he's been deputable. He's done okay.
Yeah, he's come back and he's been a good squad player to have around. You know, he's been useful, which you'd never have thought that was going to happen.
No,
last
I mean,
last pre-season,
I'd written him off last season. I thought he was woeful, to be honest. But he's obviously knuckled down, worked hard, and we found a niche for him. But Target is certainly your left wing back all day long. He's a class act. So good to see him playing through the pain barrier yesterday. Great tweet of his foot.
yeah. Yeah. Paul 78, he comes in with the situation might be the best thing to happen to us this season. I've not been convinced by Rob Edwards from the start, and I felt we were slipping. Performances all season haven't been great. Today galvanised the team and the fans. A new boss, if right, could be just what we need for promotion. Come to you, Cuts.
Yeah, well, sometimes you get teams that are near the bottom and they get a new manager push, don't they? So imagine if we get a new manager push when we're second in the league. It's going to be all right, isn't it? But it's going to be on the alternative side. It's going to be difficult for a new manager. If we get a new manager come in and we lose against Oxford and we lose against Coventry, fans are going to be thinking, "Hold on a minute, Edwards was doing this, Edwards." But on the flip side, if he comes in, wins 2 games on the bounce, everything's rosy. The fixtures coming up, I think they're good fixtures for us. I think Oxford away is not a bad one. It's going to be tough. I've said it every time. Every game's tough. But if we go to Oxford and win, and we've got Coventry at home, that stadium's going to be absolutely bouncing with a potential new manager in as well.
Be a sellout, won't it?
It's still exciting times for us, isn't it? Let's be honest. With or without Rob Edwards, it's exciting times.
I think so. As you say, that Coventry game, it's going to be a sellout. The Riverside will be jumping. If we can nick that Coventry game, can you imagine? It's going to be a crazy season. But, like, things happen for a reason. Sometimes things just happen that click into place randomly. And that's like what you just said, Cuts. You think everything's doom and gloom. But suddenly, we've won yesterday. No, I don't think many Middlesbrough fans expected it to win yesterday under the circumstances, but we did. It was fantastic 3 points. The fans got over the line. The players got over the line. You go second in the league with Stoke losing. You then suddenly rock up at Oxford, beat Oxford. Then you're going into a top of the table clash. We're Coventry hunting them down. That's how mad football is and how quickly it can change. It's always been said that a week's a long time in football. Well, by God, it has been this week.
The risk is we bring in a new manager and he wants to put his own stamp on things and changes things too much. And we do lose games and we do tumble down the table. Then he's on a hide into nothing. Then we're struggling because we're second. So for me, there's no immediate panic. We need to get a manager. We need to get one in before the international break finishes. I'm not so sure. I'm happy just to stay calm and just tick along.
Do you not think, Bandy, the next manager that comes in will be under instructions or remit from Kieran Scott that we play a certain way, we've got certain strengths in the squad, we're better with a back 3, back 5, or sort of 4-2-3-1 type of formation. He'll be sort of primed that if he comes in, he's got to sort of continue what's happening at the club.
100%, yeah.
I don't think we're going to take a manager on, but I'm trying to say that's going to be allowed to come in and rip it all up and say, I don't want to play that way, and in January, I want them 3-4 players gone because they're not my type of players, and I want to go and buy this player and that player. I don't think that'll be the remit. I think whoever comes in, it'll be coming in to continue the status quo.
100%. That's the only way forward. We don't want to rip anything up and go backwards again. We did that, we've done that since when we lost Wild and we had to start all over again. And we can't go down that route again because we'll be forever just treading water. We're in a good position now. So we just got to make sure we maintain the solidity and that base that we've put down.
Claire Boulder is asking, is it possible to recall Borges in January? Well, Claire, my understanding on that and what I've done a bit of digging is it was a season-long loan for Borges to Bristol City. I don't think there's any release clause in his contract that Middlesbrough can recall him at any time. I think it's a straight season loan, so I don't think Borges will be coming back anytime soon. And to be honest, I don't see the need for him to be coming anytime soon. We've got a £6 million defender from America in Malanda coming over as well. So you'd think we should be well stocked in that position. The wonderfully named Victor Umbongo has messaged in. What a fantastic name that, isn't it? Victor Umbongo. He says, will Boro and Wolves achieve the same number of Premier League points by the end of the season? 0. Wolves have a horrendous set of games in December. So, because Victor Umbongo got in touch, I had to have a quick look at Wolves' games for December. So I'll get your guys' opinions on this fixture list for Rob Edwards. We've got Wolves against Crystal Palace, followed by Aston Villa away, Forest at home, Man United at home, away to Arsenal, home to Brentford, away to Liverpool, away to Man United.
Couldn't give them monkeys. Couldn't care less.
Me neither. 2 draws maximum.
I think Rob's in trouble. I think he's in trouble. It's such a shame. Such a shame. So we'll move on to Barry Stimpson. Well, Barry.
Oh, go on, Bazza.
Here he comes. Barry Stimpson comes in. Evening, typical Boro. Enjoyed the match immensely. I'd like to see Boro do what Wolves have done with us and approach a head coach who is currently employed and doing well and pay some compensation. We always seem to go for out-of-work head coaches, which is obviously cheaper. What do you think, lads? I'll start with you, Bandy.
Well, firstly, as Bazza got the funds to cough up for the compensation, because I don't think Gibson will. So, no, legally it's too complicated as well. I don't think we need all that chew. There are managers out there out of work who we could get, but like we've mentioned a couple, Mowbray, Gerrard. No, I don't think I think it's a dangerous game to play. The legalities of it are too complicated as well. And we've, like you say, you've gone through the track record. Dicko, last one was Lenny Lawrence, and how many years ago was that? So I don't think it's us. I don't agree with it, to be honest. I don't agree with poaching other managers who are.
Do you think it's Gibson's principles, Bandy?
Look how much it's annoyed us that Wolves have come in and poached Edwards under contract.
I'm saying, do you think it's Gibson's principles, Graham? Because if you think about it, we're going to get a lot of compensation back off Wolves for Rob Edwards. So we can use that money that we get off Rob Edwards to then go and poach another manager from another club if we need to. But I think this is Gibson's principles. I think Gibson doesn't like it done to him as it's been done now by Rob Edwards. So by his principles, he won't do it any other club. I think he's a principled man.
I think he's a principled man, and there's no way I think he'll do that. No, he's on about going at Wolves with an iron fist legally. You know, via the Premier League, saying that they've breached regulations. So if we do that to another club, then it's you can't, shouldn't throw stones in glass houses.
I think the fact that we haven't done it for 34 years, I think it was 1991, wasn't it, Lenny?
91, yeah.
So the fact that we haven't done it for 34 years tells you everything you need to know about what Steve thinks about that type of scenario.
I mean, it's a fair question, but who would Barry go and get? Who would he like us to try and poach? That's the difference. And it's tricky.
There's plenty of managers out there, but as you say,
well, if you were to poach, I'll say go and get Frank Lampard. That would be lovely.
I've got a feeling he won't be going anywhere soon, other than the Premier League with Coventry. By the looks of it, they're absolutely flying.
Late winner again yesterday, but they did us a favour because it just keeps Stoke away from us a little bit. And if we can sit in that top 2 all season, I couldn't give a monkeys who wins that title.
Coventry will drop points as the season goes on, like anybody else. They've got some tough games to close as well.
Yeah, so, they could lose against us, and then we're back in the hunt for the title. Who knows?
I think it's more important that we're looking above to stay where we are rather than I think the bigger the gap we can get from 7th. I know we're looking at automatics at the moment. Stay on their coattails.
I hear people saying now, "Oh, you'd have took playoffs at this stage of the season." No, take what you get at that particular time. Maintain your standards. Be ruthless, be horrible, stay in that second place. Because the minute we're 3rd, we lose a couple, then we're 4th, then we're 5th, and then it comes to 7th, 8th. Oh, we're only 3 points off the playoffs. Nonsense. We've got to stay where we are. And we were starting to slip under Edwards. The mask was revealed. We did start slipping. That Watford game alarmed me massively. As I kept saying all season, we don't look like we're going to lose many games. We certainly don't look like we're going to get hammered. And we got absolutely walloped down there. So, yeah, maybe something did go on. I don't know.
We're 5 points clear of what we were last season under Michael Carrick. And you think we had a terrible, terrible time after the Christmas where we lost a lot of games. So, if we can keep that sort of points total moving into the new year, I think we really are going to have a chance of pushing the top 2 positions. I mean, playoffs won't. Playoffs is still a decent season. Don't get us wrong, but if you look at the teams that have come down, they're not flying. They're not firing all cylinders. I mean, Ipswich. I still think, in my opinion, your Ipswiches and your Southamptons, they're going to come good. They will put a run together. They will be up there challenging. But as long as we can keep that little bit of a gap, we're going to be tough to catch. We're going to be tough to catch.
That's my point. Yeah, that's my point. There's some good teams up in that top 6 now. It's like going back to the old school. It's refreshing. It's a good league, but it's a massive chance for us because we look arguably better than the 4 or 5 that are chasing us, in my opinion.
Right, guys, that's absolutely flown over. I don't know. I can't believe that's an hour already. But what I'll say is, obviously, please retweet the prize tweets. See if you can win yourself a game or for your family or friends for Christmas. Get that out there.
Don't forget the snake.
Don't forget the snake emoji. So Boro fans, the Cobra has left. Rob Edwards is gone, left the Riverside Stadium. A new era is about to start. Who that's going to be, we'll find out hopefully shortly. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for you two guys coming on, boys.
Pleasure.
And we'll see you again next week. Remember, don't see a typical Boro. Watch it, listen to it, and we'll be back soon. Up the Boro.
Up the Boro.